What are really good or bad graphics in video games? Where can we find them in video games? Well guys, it happened with me in past, that, whenever I used to suggest some video games to other people, like some of my friends or my cousins, they used to say things to me, that those games' graphics aren't that good, it doesn't have realistic visuals, blah blah blah. And I was like, bro, why don't you see the gameplay, the story plot, the characters, and the features that the game is offering? And so, I stopped recommending games to them long ago. And unfortunately, this problem still exists today. So I am making this video to aware you about all these graphics kind of stuff in video games, and why you don't want to focus solely on that, if you want to fully enjoy your game. So first, let's understand this. The term graphics in video games generally refers to each and every asset which are displayed in a video game that we can see on our monitor or TV screen, like the game's surroundings, environments, characters, textures, visual effects, etc. And all these assets when together combined are called graphics, or more precisely video games graphics. Now graphics in video games comes in different styles, various forms, and distinct qualities if compared side by side with similar type of games. Now, from what I have just said, it implies that video game is an art. Now if in case you're not aware, the word art actually means something that is created by a person, out of his or her own ideas, imaginations, innovations, and various other aspects. Now art has various forms, such as paintings, script writings, filmmaking, and so on. Hence, making and developing video games is also a form of art. Video games are a kind of digital form of art, created by game developers. Now, let's take a scenario. If you have gone to a museum, or any painting exhibition, or if go there in future, you can see that there are many paintings showcased there, made by their respective artists. You can clearly see that each and every painting is different, and has distinct perspective and inner thoughts and ideas of the painter, which she or he poured all into the painting. And in this case, we never say that this painting is good, or this painting is bad, things like this, even if we don't understand what the portrait wants to tell. Heck, sometimes we can't even understand whether the painting has been placed in the wrong direction or not. Now the same happens with video games too. Game developers who create video games for us are the artists, and the video games which they create are the arts made by them. I also love painting and making sketches sometimes, of my favorite cartoon or anime characters. Remember when we used to make drawings of landscapes and sceneries back in our school days? All of our drawings were used to be different. Do you know why? Well, because some of us used to draw or sketch with different types of pencils, different types of colored pencils, or, oil pastels, wax crayons, even watercolors, and so on. However, our respected teacher usually gave good remarks and positive feedback for all of our drawings. And all these proves that no art is either good nor bad. It depends upon the viewer's or the audience's perspective, that how he or she treats it or sees, or understands that piece of art, either the way that the painter tried to portray it, or by his or her own way. And if we come back to our video games side, yeah, this is the same goes for video games too. You see, video games are meant to be played and enjoyed. It doesn't matter which genre are you into, but if you are playing video games just for the realistic and so-called good graphics, then you're probably doing the wrong thing. Yeah, I know, there are some games which are mainly focused on graphics, just to sell you the latest next-gen RTX hardware. Those games are nothing but a tech demo for me. Let's take Cyberpunk 2077, a game that features such realistic visuals, that to see, look, and feel those good-looking real-life, breathtaking graphics, you need an RTX 40 series graphics card. CDPR even increased the system requirements, irrespective of the fact that the game just became somehow stable on PC and consoles after several patches. And now this. Now tell me friends, what's the point of giving us such games when most of the people might be playing the game at 4K or 8K max settings after 10 years down the road when we would get some different series of graphics cards which doesn't exist today? I don't know if we will be getting flying cars with the Liberty City expansion pack. If not, then what's the point of making the game set in a fictional 2077 future? I even came across several comments in different game forums where people were discussing that they bought Cyberpunk 2077, but after playing for a few hours, they got bored and never returned to the game. So this again proves that realistic and real-life-like graphics comes at the expense of gameplay varieties and fun mechanics, which are necessities for a game, so that it can be played and enjoyed by many players. Recently, EA released Immortals of Aveum, and I knew that the game would have performance issues. What's the point of Unreal Engine 5? What's the point of Lumen and Nanite? And what's the point of real-life and realistic game graphics and visuals, when the game is running at 720p on the new-gen consoles? Yes, it upscales up to 4K, but from 720 resolution. I saw this on one of the Digital Foundry's videos, and I was shocked when I saw that the Xbox Series S runs this game at 436p. Even though it's not fully a standard definition resolution, it still upscales the game to up to 4K. So what's the point of UE5 realistic graphics, when you are getting blurry textures and faint quality? Also, you cannot even play the game on PC if you don't have an RTX or any other GPU that supports ray tracing. They provided these hefty system requirements, as the game doesn't allow users to manually disable the ray tracing features, which is sick. And I think that's the big L for these studios, which makes such games that can only be played fully and properly by ultra-rich gamers and high-end PC users. Or maybe not, I guess. So we need to wait for 10 years at least to play the game the way it should be. On the other hand, if we see games from the previous generation, we have few games having realistic graphics, along with good gameplay elements and unique game mechanics at the same time. Games like Titanfall 2 and Call of Duty World War II have vivid and breathtaking lifelike graphics. Titanfall 2 has unique character physics, glorious visuals, and satisfying shooting mechanics. On the other hand, COD World War II probably has one of the best realistic character models. Their faces seem close to real human beings. Even if you don't like old World War types of games, even then you might love this game. And both the games are very well optimized, even you can play both the games at 60 frames per second on your Steam Deck, sitting on your couch. Games like Battlefield 3 and 4, COD Black Ops 2, Tomb Raider 2013, these are such examples of games, which are still relevant and worth playing even today. There are also some other games, but I currently don't remember the name of those games. If you know guys, then please comment them down below. And when games like these maintains a good balance between real-life graphics and gameplay at the same time, then only our 60 or 70 bucks gets fully utilized in buying good games, and not some tech demos out there. This type of good graphics game remains relevant forever, if it's not online only. Now, as I mentioned earlier, about different art styles in games, if you tend to enjoy video games more, then you need to put the light on other factors too, which overall makes a complete video game. Games like Hi-Fi Rush and Bomb Rush Cyberpunk both have a cartoonish 3D art style, but still, many people love those games. Just because these games are full of surprises. I play a lot of platformers, and 99% of those platformer games comes with cartoonish or 3D animation art style, but most of us still enjoy games like Psychonauts, Sonic the Hedgehog, and so many others out there, because those games are full of surprises and challenges, which makes the game fun and absolutely worth to spend time on. I finished Hi-Fi Rush, and let me tell you guys, that the game is stuffed with a good storyline, the gameplay, the soundtracks, and so much more, which impressed me and kept me engaged from start to finish. Now think guys, that if you also love Hi-Fi Rush, and so you recommend someone in your circle to play this game. And after seeing the gameplay on YouTube or Twitch, if he says that, "Wee buddy, I can't play this game due to its cartoonish graphics." Really? You know where it hurts, right? Even there are some people whom I know, who always played various types of good-looking realistic multiplayer games, except Fortnite, just again, because of its cartoonish visuals. But the irony here is that Fortnite is probably still one of the most played esports games. You know how Fortnite is still alive and how it's still gaining popularity? Because it keeps on bringing new weapons, new changes in maps with each season, and mostly, new collaborations. And that's why Fortnite is still rocking the market. So guys, in the end, I want to conclude that, yes, there's nothing like good or bad graphics in video games. Sure, if a giant AAA game has any weird graphical bugs, which is making everything look messy, then yeah, then we can say that the game has bad graphics until the issue has been fixed, but you know, that's a separate thing. Each and every video game is a piece of art, because it has been created by its creator, using his or her own imagination and creative ideas. I love to play video games from several genres and different styles. So, what would happen if every video game came up with realistic and real-life graphics? Well then, all the games would have similar features with one another in terms of graphics and visuals. There will be very less varieties, people will get bored quickly, and most importantly, something will have been missing from the games, and that is the fun and enjoyment, which are the reasons we play video games for. We might have never got games like Dead Cells, Cuphead, Hi-Fi Rush, Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, Hollow Knight, etc. if this happened. Remember guys those happy PS2 and GameCube days? We even didn't care about this graphics thing at all. All that mattered was the gameplay, fun, and enjoyment that those games used to bring and had to offer. And with that being said, let me know guys, which video games are your favorite, and why? And guys, please never forget to enjoy video games like we used to before. Until then, this is me Vendible Cave signing off for now. Wishing you all a great day ahead, and I will see you next time.